But instead, what we've done is we've said, you can be a horrible asshole in a relationship, but if you're faithful, that's some virtuistic quality. Because we've tethered it to the weakest part of the relationship. That'd be like tethering your relationship to sexual fidelity is like if every time you called a tow truck driver and they showed up to tow your car, they attached those little winches to your side view mirrors. You know what I mean? And then that guy would be like, all right, Phil, crank it up. And he'd shear them off the fucking side of the car. And you'd be like, has this ever worked? And he'd be like, no, not once. Not in the history of humanity. It's not worked once. But it's just the way we've been doing it for hundreds of years. So we don't ask questions. Why not hook the winches to honesty and steadfastness and love and trust and communication, things that matter? I don't fucking understand. And I don't understand why people are afraid about watching their partner have sex with somebody. For guys, it's about dick size. Honestly, every guy is like, what happens if he has a bigger cock than me? Women don't give a shit about big dicks, I'll tell you that. And a lot of women will be like, I did, but they don't. And I'll tell you why I know. I'll tell you how I know that women don't care about big cocks. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of you in here, men, are here with a woman. And you're married. And a lot of you don't have big dicks. You know it. Big cocks are rare. They're so rare, they put them on TV. That's how fucking rare they are. They make movies about them. That's why if you go to a porno shop, you never see average white cocks 5. And for other people, it's like, well, what happens if they fall in love? What happens if they have sex and they love each other? Who gives it? Well, that doesn't... You're not gonna fall in love because you have sex with some... I mean, I've had sex with women I wouldn't buy live bait off of. I swear to God. Not one cup of night crawlers. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. But I'll tell you what, she could have sucked the seats out of my car through the gas port. And that's a talent I wanna know about. You're not gonna fall in love with somebody just because you fuck them, because in the morning, they're gonna make some comment, they're gonna take a joke of yours too seriously, or she's gonna tell you that she really loves Maroon 5's early stuff. And you're gonna be like, oh, I don't like you at all. No, this isn't gonna work. I gotta bail. And ask yourselves, why can't we love more than one person? Like, we've got hooked on this idea that we're only allowed to love one person. You're only allowed to care. But that's bullshit. We're fully capable of loving more than one thing at once. We can love more than one band. I love more than one soft drink. You know what I mean? You're allowed to love more than one child equally. In fact, if you don't love your children equally, you're a psychopath. But the minute you become an adult, could you imagine... If we treated our relationships with our children, our relationships with our kids like we do with adults, like if you were like, oh my God, I'll never forget the day that Robert was born. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget, he was just the apple of my eye. I watched his birth, most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And I remember him coming out just a squiggly little mess. And I got to take him and give him his first bath. And I remember thinking... and just whispering to him, I'm gonna be here for you. I've got your back. Dad's always here. I got you, buddy. And it was great for the first few years. That wasn't until Heather was born. And at first I tried to resist her advances, you know what I mean? She'd crawl across the floor to me and be like, Dad, and I'd push her away with my shoe and I'd be like, I'm with Robert, respect my boundaries. I'm incapable of loving two things, and I'd skate her across and get little Rod Burns and cry, but she was persistent, and so I had to let Robert go. I did. I had to let him go. I had to give up on him. I couldn't do it. I fell in love with Heather. She's my new apple of my eye, and I'm not going to lie to you all. Don't tell Heather this, but sometimes when Heather and her mom are out of town and Dad's home alone. I'll get in the car and I'll drive by the fire department that we left Robert at. Is he up? You know?